It's Tax Tuesday on midday, and with all the problems surrounding Mo Money taxes, many are wondering how can they make sure their money is protected. Well, joining us now is Toby McClarty, a tax expert with Jackson Hewitt Tax Services. And should you have a question, you can join us right now at 673-5420 or go online at wavy.com and join our conversation right there online. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
What would you say if someone who thinks that they have a problem with the person or the company that prepared their taxes and they want to find out, let's start with the tax return and where the money is and how they can get access to it? Where do you start?
The first thing I recommend, if you go back to the preparer and get the information to start with, what they say your status is. And you can also double check that with the IRS. You can go to irs.gov, check on the Where's My Refund link, or you can also call their hotline, which is just for the refund status. That's 1-800-829-1954. And that gives you your specific update on your specific tax situation. So you can find out if your refund's just being held as part of their current delay or if something else has happened.
Is there something going on here where if you go to a certain preparer, your money from the government goes to them before it goes to you? And can you interrupt that process?
Once your return is filed, it's kind of that way. If you do not pay your tax preparation fees out of pocket, then generally your refund goes to the preparer, and the preparer takes out their fees and gives your portion back to you. If you're not getting your portion, then of course that's a problem you need to let the IRS be aware of immediately.
All right. And how do you know your company or individual is or are legit in the first place? What can you do?
Well, there's several things you can do. The first thing is it's okay to ask questions. You know, when you go in and you talk to the preparer, if they don't sound competent or if they don't have somebody there that they can get information from, that might be a flag. The other thing is every preparer is registered with the IRS, should have a P-10, and they should be able to tell you whether or not they have a P-10. And of course, they need to have a business license and be a registered e-fin holder, which is what we use to e-file tax returns. So those are some of the things you can look for to make sure that the person or the company you're dealing with is legitimate.
And it kind of helps to get a referral, too, from someone who is satisfied with their service.
Absolutely. A lot of our business is built on referral. You know, when you ask somebody how they hear about someone, if they're giving you a glowing recommendation, then that's a good company to deal with.
All right. We've got some questions, and thank you for calling us at 673-5420. First up, Lynn in Hampton. Are you there? Lynn in Hampton, are you there? Lynn called in, sorry we lost you, but she called in with a question about how much is too much to pay in a fee to the tax preparer.
That's a great question. Your fee should be based on the complexity of your individual tax return. It should not be based on your refund amount. So that's actually a rule. So if you go in and you don't feel that you have a complicated report or return, ask them, you know, what forms went on your return to see if it's, you know, legitimate. Now,
are fees usually set based on a percentage of the return or the hours that you put into it, or what?
It should be based on the forms that are filed and the complexity of the return itself.
And I guess it's kind of like what the market will bear, because your fees may be different from someone else's.
That's correct. But you want to be going someplace that's at least competitive. If you're paying too much or too little, that could be a sign. You know, if you get what you pay for sometimes, so you want to make sure that you're dealing with a competent company.
I know you work to get the person as much of a return as they are entitled to.
Correct.
But isn't that kind of competitive where one company says, well, I can get you more money compared to another company?
Right. So long as the return is filed accurately, then your refund is what your refund is. Just depends on making sure that you don't miss any deductions and you don't miss any credits that you're entitled to.
Okay.
With our program, we go through everything to make sure that we've gotten all the money that you deserve, that you're entitled to.
Got you. Toby McClarty, thank you very much with Jackson Hewitt. And should you have more questions, you can go online right now to wavy.com. We have kicked off our live tax tips chat, and Jackson Hewitt Tax Expert is on hand right now to answer your questions live in our online chat. That's until 1:30 this afternoon. And we'll be back here next Tuesday with Jackson Hewitt. And until then, you can give him a call at 1-800-234-1040 to get answers to your tax questions, or you can email them at midday@wavy.com. And if you filed your tax return with Mo Money, the Mo Money Company, you can check on the status of that return with the IRS. If you believe your taxes were fraudulently filed, you can contact the IRS at this number, 1-800-829-0433. That's 1-800-829-0433, and report that a false return has been filed in your name. And you can find all this information at wavy.com.